What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Beacon of Nick podcast, episode 3. Aderan Gaming is this week's guest. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. It should be Sunday when this is going up, hopefully. Yep. So we just talked for I don't know, half an hour about a bunch of stuff. We're having a really good time. Hope you guys are having a great day, like I said. Yeah. So, Aderan, if you want to just kick it off and tell everyone about yourself a little bit and explain your journey in your life and on YouTube and everything else, that'd be awesome. I know it's a lot to explain, but
well, when I was a young boy, I started off in the mountains of Maine, and that toughened me up to the man I am today. No, absolutely not. I am. We're not going there. Hi. My name is Matt.
That's for next time.
Yeah, that's for next time's podcast. Matt's childhood story and how his fingers got frozen off and why they look crooked. No, I'm just kidding. Not today's episode. Family life story later.
Sure.
Yes. Well, my name is Aderan Gaming on YouTube, but my name is Matt IRL. I do all sorts of things like Splatoon, Nintendo games, Zelda, Hollow Knight, indie stuff. I think most important for me, and if you're a fan of Beacon of Nick, I think you'll also enjoy the fact that the most important thing for us is just hanging out and chilling with you guys. And the most important question is not like, what game are you playing or how's the run going? It's how was your day? And just talk with you and engaging with you. So if you like that kind of thing, then glad to have you. That's me. That's our stuff.
Absolutely.
But also probably one of the most important things about my channel is that I'm a good friend of Nick. And Nick is a really cool guy, and we like hanging with him, so that's why we're here.
I appreciate that so much, Aderan. I appreciate that.
Sure.
I feel like with YouTube, before I started YouTube, I didn't know a lot of people that did YouTube, like content creators, and now I know so many people, and there's so many cool people out there, man, and you're definitely one of the coolest people I've met through YouTube. So when I started this podcast, I had a short list of people that I wanted to have on eventually, and you were easily at the very top of that list. So I'm happy we keep this, we can actually do this today, and thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. So.
I was at the top of the list because my name starts with A, right? So A at the top.
It was alphabetical, but still, I wanted to have you on as well. It was more alphabetical.
AD usually puts me pretty high in that list. I think the only person who overtook me was Abby, but I don't know if you've gotten to Abby yet.
I have not. Hopefully, one of these days, very soon. It's crazy.
I don't know Abby either, so that's fine.
My grandparents on my mom's side, the last name is Abbott, and it's A B B, and I do they're alphabetical, always right away, which is hilarious. But yeah. But yes, dude, I'm so happy to have you, my friend. It was funny before we recorded this, we were talking for a while, and I have a sticky note full of things that I want to hopefully get to today. But like always, I just love having a very free form, flowing conversation. Me and Aderan both I think we both talked about having not that much sleep last night, but we're both rolling with a lot of tea today, so that's a very, very cool thing.
Tea and coffee, man. That's how we do it in good times.
Tea, caffeine and good conversation will always prevail. Exactly. But yeah, I like what you said though about YouTube, and I feel like no matter what game I'm streaming, I just want everyone to know that they're always welcome to hang out, and I feel like the coolest thing is having people, no matter what I stream, there's some people that just never have the game that I'm streaming, they always enjoy hanging out in the chat and having a good time, and that's what I most enjoy about YouTube, is just no matter how my day goes, at the end of the day, you just know you have people that care enough about your channel and your community that they enjoy spending ending their day with you, and you enjoy ending your day with them. Yeah, and that's one of the most special things about YouTube, in my opinion, that I enjoy.
I'm telling you, I always tell people, I've had a rough day at work. Things have gone bad. The plane has flipped upside down. But at the end of the day, I'm playing video games with coffee and I'm hanging with you guys. So my day's perfect. I couldn't be in a better place. I'm in the same boat, Nick.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's one of those things where when people tell you that they had a rough day and your stream has helped them even a little bit, trying to make their day better. It makes you so happy. It makes you so happy. You're like, man, if I can have an impact on your day, sitting here playing a game and talking to you, absolutely, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
And I think you can agree with me where I would like to shout out the people and the viewers who are watching this, but then also in your chat when that happens, because I will always be a supporter of when people come to the channel and they say, "Hey Nick, you've helped me a lot today. My day's been really stressed out." It's not just you, but it's all the other people in chat who are "Oh my gosh, Abby, so good to see you!" And all these people who are. It's not just the welcoming streamer and the really cool lights and the Sir Farfetch'd and the Pokemon things in the background. Sure. It's not just that. It's the fact that the actual community and the environment itself is so welcoming, and the people are what make that happen. So You guys.
Yeah, kudos to everyone like watching this, or anybody that never watches this that's still part of the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. You know, like,
even if we never see you on here, we're shouting you out on Sunday. Today is going to you.
Yeah, to all the wonderful people that like watch streams but not really the videos that I post, I still appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you for still supporting the channel in any way you do. It means a lot. So like, it's just it's wonderful because like it's just YouTube for me has been like the craziest ride because like I remember when I first went live for my first ever stream and it was like I remember I got like my laptop in January or no it was Christmas of 2019 and I was like, you know what, I want to give content creation a try even though I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm a fan of so many people that do YouTube. I'm like, I'll give it a try.
Ooh.
So I started streaming and like I feel like at first like there was nobody. I didn't really know anybody, and I was like very lonely. And like there was only like 2 people that came to my streams, and I was like super grateful for them. I was like, man, you
shout out to the 2. Shout out to the 2 original peoples.
I still had fun. It was like me and 2 people, and like I just kept that same mentality. Like no matter how many people show up today, I'm just gonna try to have a good time and do my best. And like no matter, I try to never get out of that headspace. I just try to always like just. I act like it's just me and whoever ends up showing up that night, and like by the end of the stream, however it goes, that's just how it went that night. And like I just try to always do my best, have fun, and try to just enjoy myself with everybody else. You know,
that's really cool. Can you? I wanna wrap my head around everything about that. Can you repeat that again, just one more time, just so I know? You want to when you go into stream, you do it to focus exactly on just you and like whoever's there that night, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I feel like I have a really weird like pre-stream ritual because I feel like I always make tea. I feel like I always have a granola bar. I make tea.
Yes.
I usually have some eggs or whatever like before I go live, and I always like I try to like just sit down. I try to like sit down with myself, and I'm like, all right, I'm going live in 15 minutes. I'm like, no matter what's going on in the world right now, no matter what crazy things are out there, there's a lot of crazy monsters that are trying to like there's a lot of bad things out there. I'm like, I'm gonna go live in 15 minutes, and whoever ends up showing up in my chat, I'm just gonna end up trying to have the best time with them. Try to hopefully make their day a little bit better, and try to enjoy whatever game I'm streaming. You know.
Gotcha.
And like I try to always like get like in a state of like mindfulness and like just very in the present moment. I'm like whatever's going on in my life after the stream ends, I'll deal with that then. But whatever's going on right now I'm streaming. You know, like I'll focus on this and give it my all. And after this, whatever happens then. But like, and that always helps me like try to just at least get in like a better place, even if I'm still having a rough day. That'll help me get in a better place.
Exactly. And the reason I'm latching onto that is just because I feel very similarly. And you'll see it if you go to any of my stream archives. I usually am at that first moment of stream. I'm in that transition state where I'm still worried about everything that's happened to me in my day, and I haven't seen anybody yet, and I'm working with Streamlabs, whatever. But the moment that people and names start showing up in chat, I'm like, oh my gosh, like all my moderators, like all my friends, like names start popping up. Then that all just like disappears, and now I'm in the moment and like I'm in there for chat. And I wanted to latch onto it because I feel like sometimes a lot of people, whether they feel discouraged by the numbers, whether they feel discouraged by how well other creators are doing, or how big other channels are, that's okay. Just enjoy what you're doing and have fun with the game that you're playing. Have fun with the people that are in your chat in that moment for that stream. And as long as you are enjoying that on a day in, day out basis, that's the most important thing. After stream, sure, break down your analytics, figure out how to grow your channel, worry about that stuff then. But for the moment, like for that stream, the most important thing to do is enjoy where you are, enjoy the people that you're with. So same brain cell, Nick. I love it. I love this.
I love that so much, dude. I love that. It's one of those things where I feel like when I get like I feel like I get very zenful and very like in the moment, and then right before I go live I get really nervous. Like before I hit go live, I'm like, oh man, I'm going live to the world right now. I'm like then it gets a little bit nerve wracking, and then right when I go live and I see everyone join the stream and everyone starts chatting, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be this is what it is. This is gonna be a good time. And then there's always hurdles like while you're streaming along the way, like while you're live. There's always things that happen sometimes, and like it's always a roller coaster. But then like by the end of the night before I end and I'm saying goodbye to everybody, I'm like, man, like if I didn't go live tonight, my night would have been that much worse probably. I would have, this just helped me so much. You don't. I have the hardest time ending a stream when I'm having fun. I have the hardest time with it.
Yep, stalling. This guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
My community knows that they're like, all right, Matt. So, are we staying up 30 more minutes while you try and stall and talk for the rest of the night, or what's going on? So,
yeah, I remember like the other night. I think it was Tuesday night. I was streaming, and it was like 2 in the morning still, and I was still live. I'm like, man, I have to end the stream pretty soon. And then Relia ended up coming over and raiding us. Yeah! And we got a Relia raid. I'm about to end the stream right now, and Relia just sent like so many cool people over, and now I'm talking to everybody. And we started talking Hollow Knight. We started talking all these fun games that I love. I'm like, I can't end right now. I have to. And then everyone started joining Discord. After the stream, I ended up like going in Discord talking to everybody, and I'm like, that's my. Really, if Relia ever watches this, I hope Relia you know that I'm a like, oh, you got the mustache? No way! Relia. Oh my gosh, dude, that is the best thing ever. That is the best thing ever.
I'm a very good fan of Relia. He's a very good content creator. He just reached 100K. He just got his check mark.
If you guys don't know Relia, you should go subscribe to him because he's a really great dude, and he's very talented, and he makes like the best tutorials I've ever seen. He's amazing.
Super cool.
I hope Relia ends up watching this at some point in the future. Hopefully.
I will personally remind Relia that he got featured on this podcast.
Oh my gosh, if he watches it, that'd be awesome. Cause I remember last summer I was streaming like Pokemon one night, and then Relia raided me for the first time. I didn't know who he was before he raided me, and then I went and subscribed to him. I'm like, oh, this guy's really cool.
Yes.
And then like I subscribed to him, and he like the coolest thing about Relia was that when he raided me, he kept coming back to my channel and like checking in and like seeing how I was doing.
Yes.
And like he would always ask me questions, and like I feel like he's a genuine fan of content creation, and he's a genuine good person. Like that's what I've learned about him.
He's a great guy. And I this is a wow, yes, Relia is amazing.
Yes.
But it's because he's a good example of somebody who is invested not just in his own content, but is here to support other content creators through raids, through being there on his own. Because obviously, like, seeing a friend like that in chat, it lifts you up and you're like, wow, like, this person enjoys my content, not just like to like come here and raid, but also just on his own interest too.
Yes.
And I think that those concentric circles of being there to support somebody with like numbers for raids, but then also being there to support them in enjoying what they do as well is such an amazing thing. And that's what I think makes, like you were getting to this point earlier, and I guess we can use this to circle back to it.
Sure.
That's what makes this platform so much fun, and also just streaming in general. I know that some people don't always look at YouTube as a streaming platform. They see it more of just a edited video platform. But I think kind of the beauty in this is that we get to engage with people, not just viewers and community people, but also other creators in a bigger, broader way, which makes it really cool. So for people who are either interested in streaming or interested in content creation, I'm sure that both Nick and I would say, just do it. Nike is going to copyright strike me, but just do it. Like
100%. 100%.
They said it right. And I have a note to when we get into the conversation of like how you started and what things motivated you, stuff like that. Just do it was like a big thing pushing me because I had all these worries, I had all these doubts, I had all these fears, but you just got to jump in. And it's a really good thing to do.
You have to. Mm-hmm. People always ask me, like, I get asked a lot, like, what equipment do you use? Like, do you have any advice for new streamers? And like, it's hard because like at the end of the day, I feel like I still don't have a lot of the answers to like what you should do for YouTube or what makes like a channel like successful, whatever that means. Yes. Like I just feel like I learn every day, and I feel like what works for somebody else might not work for any other person. And like you got to really figure out like what makes you unique as a person and what your strengths are, and then like double down on those, and also try to improve what your weaknesses are over time. And that's the best thing that I've learned myself. Because I feel like there's like just like the social aspect and trying to have a good time with everybody is like what I do like good, but there's also a lot of things that I need to work on myself that I could really improve on and, like, as a person and as a creator. And then like I feel like no matter like when you're starting, like a lot of people ask me like they're like a little bit younger and they're like I don't have equipment, I don't have any of the stuff. I'm like, get the basic equipment that you like, the bare minimum, go with it for a while, and if you want to keep doing it, slowly upgrade. That's what I can tell you, I guess, you know.
And we can also talk about you might have this written down, but we can talk about ideas.
Sure.
How to store them, how to log them, keep track of them. Because even if you don't have the equipment, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the energy, we're going to talk about what you can do and what strategies you can utilize for saving these ideas and saving them for a time that you do have those resources for later.
I love this. I'm terrible at this. I would love. I mean, I've gotten better, but I'm still not good at this. So I would love to hear how you feel about this because I feel like that can help me a lot too.
Okay. Discord, Google Drive, got it. Okay. So what's next on our list?
Okay, so like before you started content creation, was there any single person or a group of people like on any platform that inspired you that that you looked to like, wow, if I could somehow have a channel similar to them, that'd be really cool. Or like anybody that you look like admire to this day?
So when I first, obviously who I am today is a lot different than who I was in the past.
Sure.
I originally really started to look into YouTube watching a Battlefield 3 YouTuber named Russian Badger. He eventually went on to do Rainbow Six Siege and then a couple other games. He kind of inspired me to think about it because his humor was excellent. He didn't have a webcam. He didn't have like crazy special effects. It was just him using a really cool sense of humor to amplify and make just a regular first-person shooter really funny. So he kind of like inspired me to like get that idea. And then of course on a bigger scale, Jacksepticeye he was a monolith of content creation. And I know he's talked a lot about where he was at in his life when he was starting to grow his channel and the stress that he was under, but kind of just the passion that literally just overflowed. He was dumping out a video every single day, if not 2 videos a day. And like, I don't encourage anybody to push themselves to a point where you feel like you need to push out content like that. You should do it because you're enjoying it. But just the way that he markets himself, the way that he did his content, the energy that he put, top of the morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacksepticeye. Like, dude, that popping off like that. How does that not like
nobody
put it like a kick in your pants? Like you're ready to go for the day, you know? Watching him do that was phenomenal. And that inspired me. And then I think even more so nowadays, he's he keeps a lot. He has a private life and he has some things to himself, but he has recently been a lot more open and a lot more honest about where he was at with like his mental health, where he's at with boundaries, with taking breaks, with looking out for yourself, with charity events. Oh my gosh, he's got some of the coolest charity events ever. And seeing the impact that he's making, not only as a content creator on the entertainment sphere, but also the impact that he's making in the interpersonal, taking care of yourself, self-care and mental health, and then also in the sphere of charity, in the sphere of like world influence. All those different areas are, to me, what make him such a cool person. I know some people are like, oh, he makes really good Happy Wheels videos, or he makes really good Among Us videos and stuff like that. And that's true, but I see Jack more on the whole picture and seeing all the different things that he does, and that's the kind of person that I want to be. I don't need to have millions of subscribers. It's not just the number, but it's the kind of person that Jack is to people, and being intentional and genuine and wanting to be there. I mean, here's the honest thing, Nick. At the end of the day, I'm at 5 point something K subs. Sure. If I don't gain a single sub after today, like I feel like I would still enjoy doing this, because at the end of the day, I love playing a game and getting to interact and hear about someone's day and get to know them better and build that connection. You know, that's the most important thing for me. So regardless of where this goes, Jack was a huge motivator for me. But as far as like future direction is concerned, I'm excited to where my channel will go. I'm excited to where progress will be made. But for the meantime, I'm really happy like with where I am right now, and I'm really excited for the future too.
I love that, because right now it's like when I started YouTube, I think I had like my channel had 12 subscribers when I started. Yeah, and I remember that but the
Family
first day I went live, and like everyone that was subscribed to me, I already knew my personal life. They're 12 of my friends. They're like, hey, you know, you're starting a channel, I'll subscribe to you because I want to help you out. So it's not like I really had any like fans or anybody that really cared about the channel. And I remember like as people kept finding my channel, I started like actually like meeting people, and now I have like so many friends that I've made through YouTube that I never would have met before I started this channel. So if I ended this channel today, I'd be grateful for the rest of my life that I got to start this and try and do this. I'd be grateful forever. And there's like probably there's so many people I would still talk to every single day if I stopped doing this, you know?
Exactly.
And to me, that's the most rewarding thing, you know? Regardless of like how many people end up subscribing in the future, how many people support me in any way. It's like I just gotta stay grateful for everyone, because at one point, like, it was just me and a webcam and a mic and my game, and there was nobody. And like now that people actually care enough to like come to streams that I do, it's like, man, that's the coolest thing ever.
Now you've got
like,
a whole cohort of people.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember when Pokemon Sword and Shield first came out, and I was me and my brother actually got the game together, and we both had 4 days completely like marked off our calendars to like just hang out together and play through Sword and Shield, beat the whole game, fill the Pokedex, and then basically just watch streamers do it with us. And like we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, where me and my brother just hung out. We stocked up on food, and it was just us like having a good time, trading, battling, beating the game together, enjoying it. Because like we're both massive Pokemon fans, and we played every game together. And then when I was watching these streamers play the game while I was beating it myself, I'm like, man, I was like, what if I started doing that myself if I really got into it? And that kind of was the last thing. And I was like, that was like November. And by December, I got a brand new laptop. I'm like, I'm going in on this. I'm going to try it.
We're going to jump in with both feet. There you go.
Yeah. And that's
look at where you are now, man. Dude, freaking awesome. And it's about the, I will say, Nick, that on a personal note and from me to you, I think you've done a phenomenal job at taking what a lot of people do as just streaming from a laptop and just putting yourself out there. You've done a great job at facilitating conversations, at facilitating people, bringing them together under your Discord, bringing them together under the banner of your community, and then also taking advantage of Pokemon events that have happened and bringing new people, putting yourself out there and really gaining a great group so far. So great job so far, man. And
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of those things where I it's hard because like I try to like take advantage of like when big events happen to hopefully find new people to come to the streams. But at the same time, like even if like it doesn't really work out where like new people find the channel, I just always like you just gotta find a way to enjoy all the events. You know what I mean? Like exactly. That's a good way to put it.
And you're gonna play the event anyway. So you're
exactly.
If I'm going to be doing this, why not stream it and also have people with me at the same time? That's
that's a great way to be. Exactly. Like exactly. Like it's one of those things where it's like I'm going to do it anyways, and people hopefully are going to play it and they're going to look for people to go do it with online. It's like I'll be there hopefully for them, and then it works out, and it's just so cool, man. It's just like there's so many people like from all walks of life, continents, ages, life experience, and all this stuff, and like the fact that everyone came together and found your channel and chose to subscribe and spend time in your Discord and meet new friends. Like that's the coolest thing. People that like that didn't know each other and now they're friends and now they have people to talk to like all throughout the day is insane. So
exactly. And I've had friends who they found me, and then through doing raids, like they found other communities and other friends that would never have happened if the pipeline of us like visiting other people didn't happen.
Sure.
That's across all things. One thing I wanted to... you mentioned you mentioned how you would be playing that game anyway, regardless of whether there was a stream or not. And I just want to jump in lightly because we talked about people who motivated us to get started, but also reasons for starting in the first place.
Sure.
My reason was just because I was alone, I was in a single apartment, and I had a job, and I played games. And I wasn't very happy with that. I was like, I want to do more than just doing my 9-to-5 job and playing games. I would like to play games for a reason and have a purpose behind me doing stuff. So that's when I started recording videos. I actually started with Team Fortress 2. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah, I started doing Team Fortress 2 stuff, and I did this tutorial on a certain weapon. The Force of Nature tutorial, and even to this day, Nick, I have a button on my Stream Deck that plays a small clip from that video. When I'm in college, I still have the glasses, man. I'm in college. I have these really teeny tiny, like wiry glasses with no lenses. By the way, it was simply to make myself look like a doctor, and I was like, oh yes. F stands for force because we're talking about the force of nature. Oh, it was so cheesy. I had facial hair because I thought that was cool back then. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Dude, I never knew this.
Yeah,
this
no,
hilarious.
people. Oh, you gotta brush away all the cobwebs, Nick. But it's back there.
I'm gonna have to go watch it.
It's way back there.
No, I gotta go watch this. I gotta go watch this now.
Yeah. Well,
oh my god, that's amazing.
It's still a button on my Stream Deck today. Maybe you know what? Should I keep these on?
You know what? I feel like you should now. I almost feel like
give me a smarter. Wait, I've got.
I almost feel like at this point it'd be kind of weird if you took them off.
I know exactly. That's how I feel right now. I'm just gonna like.
Dude, we gotta have.
Now I look like Mickey Mouse. Hi, kids.
Hi, kids. Hi, kids.
Exactly. I'm taking these off.
That's amazing.
Anyway, if people scrub through this video, they're gonna be like, when did he grab glasses? What happened?
It started with him not wearing glasses. Now he has glasses on. Like, did I miss something? Like, what happened? And they're gonna go find the actual point when you put them on. They're like, oh, that makes so much sense. But Edward, have you seen the cartwheel video on my channel at all? You probably aren't familiar with it. So,
go ahead.
Like when I was like 20, I think me and my friends were hanging out one day, and we were literally in my friend's basement. We were playing games, and we were swimming in my friend's pool. Yes. No, yeah, it was like early spring, so like we were outside. I don't think the pool was open yet, and I literally went outside. And I was like, hey, record this quick. And I literally went outside. I picked up a thing of snow. And I went on this inspiring rant randomly, and I'm like. It was the most inspiring speech I've ever given, and I started just doing cartwheels randomly in my friend's front yard. I never thought that video would ever find its way to the channel, but somebody found it and shared it on the stream one day, and now it's like a meme on the channel.
Yep.
And
yep.
It's hilarious.
That's exactly it.
And now I promise everybody, if I ever hit like 10,000 subs, I'm gonna remake the video and repost it. So I'm gonna do like a sequel to it, and it's just hilarious, man.
Yes,
I'm nervous. I'm nervous for that.
But that's exactly what this is all about. You know, back when YouTube first started, it was just a bunch of like, hey, let's just do something. If I can be real with you, that's how most of like TikTok and Vine and Twitter and like short form content is just like, hey, like let's do this and like do something silly. But like that's just what makes it what it is. Yeah, exactly. 15 seconds of us just thinking that something's good. I saw a TikTok video the other day that I don't own TikTok, but somebody sent it to me.
Yep.
Of just this guy. He just walks up, there's like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, grabs the coffee, takes a sip, he's like, makes some like ungodly sound. He's like, Mwah! And just throws it, like chucks it at a car, and like, that's the end. That's it. Content. That's video. Nick, I don't know, man. Your face, dude, you have the same face that I have. I don't know what they're doing. And they're like, hey dudes, like, what if you did this? Let me shoot it for you. Like,
it's like I'm surprised, but I've seen a lot of crazy stuff too. But that's just mind blowing. It's like I with TikTok, I just can't be surprised anymore. You just have anything's possible on TikTok. You just gotta like you gotta understand that it's a crazy platform.
I'm not gonna dump on it. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who enjoy that, but there's also a lot of really good stuff too. I watched some phenomenal guitar videos the other day on TikTok, and that's the only way that I could find them, and they were great. They were fantastic.
There's a lot. I feel like with YouTube, any platform, there's a lot of people that try to post some weird stuff, and maybe it works out, it doesn't, and some really entertaining and informational stuff. There's both sides to it.
And you know what? That's fine.
Sure.
Like you had your cartwheel video.
Yes.
If it comes out 5 years later, that's okay.
Absolutely.
It's putting a smile on my face right now. Like, who cares? Like, and I think if we want to roll this all up into a little discussion. If you feel like throwing Dunkin' Donuts coffee, then you throw it. Like, just if you feel like doing something, go for it.
Sure, that's how content's made. Like at the end of the day, it's like just don't do anything illegal. Make sure it's legal, and then if you want to record it and do it, you do it. Make sure you're happy because that's good content, I guess. If you love it, it's gonna be better inherently.
Exactly, and I fear the day that we're gonna have a situation of like Channel 4 News. Nick and Aderan Gaming get in trouble illegally for encouraging people to doing crime videos on TikTok.
That would be
no. We did not encourage this.
No crime, no crime. Stuff. Follow the law. Follow your state, local, federal guidelines. Make sure you're not outside of those.
International, intergalactic guidelines. Please do not get any illegal things.
International, intergalactic, federal, state, local, city, everything. Make sure you're in line with those. Then have fun.
Oh my gosh.
Then have fun. But
precisely.
But I do feel like YouTube over the next like 5 or 10 years might like It's weird because people always, like, we talked about this a little before we started recording, how, like, people always say TikTok's the way to go, YouTube is the way to go. I don't really know if there's a definitive answer. Yeah, YouTube, Twitch, like, whatever it is. And I feel like there's not a 100% correct answer. It could go either way. I just feel like starting on either platform or doing both is the way to go.
Yes.
Like, and I feel like I will start doing Twitch eventually. Whether it probably won't be the same things like I'm doing on YouTube, like we talked about. But whether it's like single player Nintendo games or single player like shooter games that I enjoy.
Yep.
But a lot of the games that I play in my personal time, I end up streaming anyway. So it's like on YouTube. So it's hard. It's just weird.
And I'll touch on this, and then we'll go back to like platforms and stuff like this.
Sure.
I struggle, Nick, because there's so many times when, and you might feel the same way, and other content creators out there, where if I'm playing a game, it's like, oh no, I'm playing something, but I'm not doing it for content. I'm wasting my time.
Oh my god, I feel
there's like there's this weird like guilt complex that happens where if you're playing something and you're not streaming, it's like, oh no, like I'm doing something wrong.
Sure.
Gamers, at the end of the day, you're a gamer, so please do not feel guilty if you're a content creator and you're playing something just because you enjoy it. Like, it's okay. Like, you're free to do what you wish. Don't let that stop you.
That's a great, that's a great thing to say. That's a very valid point.
And besides that, as far as the platforms go, so Nick and I think are on the same page where Nick is going to start Twitch eventually down the road.
Sure.
And I think we talked about this before the podcast, where we're interested in doing YouTube, and then I also currently stream on Twitch, but I specifically choose to do other stuff. My YouTube streaming is usually multiplayer stuff, Mario Kart, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, stuff where people can play with me. You know, it's like a viewer interaction thing. Yep. And then I save Twitch specifically for stuff that's like just single player, just on my own. If you want to chill with me and hang out while I play games, then go for it, but I'm still going to hang with chat and still talk.
Sure.
But also on that note, Twitch has more of the mature stuff. So Nick and I were talking about stuff like Halo or other mature games. I recently got a PlayStation. Woo! So if I end up doing like more mature content, I'm gonna go do it over on the Purple website side.
Sure.
But that's us. As far as Nick, the broader conversation of like which platform is better. My personal take is just wherever you feel comfortable. I've had some people say like, oh, YouTube is better because you can get found easier. I would argue that sometimes Twitch is a little bit easier because if you go to Twitch right now and you say, I want to look for all of the Fortnite streamers, yes, there will be hundreds and thousands of them. But if you decide to say, I want to find all of the, let's say Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is an indie game that Relia plays.
Yes.
And it's obviously smaller than Fortnite. If you go and look for Hollow Knight streamers on Twitch, you will see all of them on one page. You might have to scroll a little bit, but all of them will be there, and you can see the thumbnails of each of their streams, and you can see their name, their title, and all that stuff, and you get to choose where you go. If you were to go to YouTube, on the other hand, and even if you just type in like Hollow Knight live stream, you'll go to YouTube and you'll find Hollow Knight live stream archives. You'll see Hollow Knight live stream highlights, Hollow Knight live stream tutorials. Like there's all this extra stuff that you would have to dig through to finally find that one person who's actually live. And on top of that, if you look up Hollow Knight live stream and you even filter YouTube, there's a filtering system in YouTube, at least on desktop, where you can say, well, I just want to see people that are live or whatnot.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure, like 90% sure that doesn't include everybody. It'll have like a couple of maybe Hollow Knight live streamers who are up right now, but then whether they're in a different region or if they didn't label their game right, like if they didn't put Hollow Knight as the game, then it may not show up at all. So I would argue to a point that it is more difficult to get found on YouTube sometimes, just especially if you're streaming, but also because YouTube just has so much content that's out there that is you are a very small fish in a very large pond.
Sure, definitely.
Depending on the game, depending on what you do, depending on the circumstance, you might find more success on either platform. Go with what you enjoy is really what it comes down to. You might enjoy the fact that Twitch has a raid function where you can actually say, like,
that's the coolest thing.
I want to raid twitch.tv/beaconofnick. Yep. And it will literally take your viewers and yeet them over to that channel. They are forced to go there. Like they have, like Twitch will forward you to the right channel. And it even puts a little thing in chat that says like Aderan Gaming is raiding with a party of 69, like to Pekin of Nick, you know? So that happens. Like that's great. YouTube doesn't have that. You spam the link a couple times and hopefully people merge over. But if you're on mobile, good luck. If you like the raid system on Twitch, if you like the emojis, if you like the emotes, Twitch has emotes that can be shared across other channels as long as you're subscribed, whereas YouTube live stream emotes are only for that channel. You can't use them in other channels. So there's different things. One interesting point that always actually kept me on YouTube is that YouTube shows profile pictures. And there is something...
Yeah, that's true.
There is something about somebody's profile picture that helps identify them, helps make them feel unique, helps me remember them.
Yeah,
whereas
Twitch, that's a good point.
Twitch is just like a bunch of names. And you have the name, you have like badges and stuff for Twitch, but something about the profile pictures on YouTube. That's a big reason why I stay there. If Twitch gets profile pictures eventually, awesome, but something about that helped me feel like I was relating with people better. I could comment, I could be like, oh, like, Ember, welcome to stream. You have a Celeste profile picture. Cool. What was your favorite part about Celeste? Have you beat the game? What was most important? Because Celeste, as you know, is like a really emotionally deep game. So we can have a conversation about that and start off immediately. And I find those things really important to me, but that was just a personal thing. So
yeah,
I don't know how you feel about either like YouTube or Twitch or anything that I've brought up in the past. I just kind of like
because I know like when people like have a profile pic on YouTube and like if they change it and I comment on that, they're like, wow, you remember my profile picture enough to like actually like, you care about like me being here enough to like, remember my profile picture. If I change it, you realize that it's a weird connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel like on YouTube, I feel like they assume that over time I'll forget about them. But I try my best to remember everyone that comes to streams and then subscribe to me.
Yes.
Which I will forget occasionally if like you come to a stream for one time and you raid and you leave. I might forget about you.
Sure.
But like a lot of times, if you're in like 2 streams or more, I'm probably going to remember you, which is a cool thing.
Yeah. And when people get to put in like a profile picture of their favorite game character or whatever, it gives us, we'll go back to the idea that it's not just us as the streamer. People in chat can say like, oh, you've got an Animal Crossing profile picture, like who's your favorite villager or you know, that kind of stuff, and suddenly that helps facilitate conversation even among chat, even among the community, and people can feel more connected. They can interact better too. So like even those little small things I think go a long way as well. So that's
it makes me happy sometimes like when someone like comes to your stream and like, they don't really know like your level of like they don't really know like your how much you like actually like interact with chat and like you say hi to them and like they kind of like it's almost like they stop for a minute. They're like, oh my god, you actually acknowledged me, and like, you sense that like maybe you have like an impact on them that day, and then you start talking to them and like you have a really good conversation in the chat, and like I don't know, it just for some reason it like warms my heart and it makes me so happy. Like know that like I said hi to somebody and they felt like they were welcome in my stream. It's a good feeling.
And I feel like a lot of people sometimes will either just go to live stream or go to YouTube and they're like, oh, I just want to watch a video. I just want to kind of like sit back and relax. I don't expect to interact with anybody today. But then when you actually get to talk with somebody, not only us, but like also people, I think that's what makes it so much fun. And a lot of people will, I have so many friends who are lurking in chat, doing artwork, doing homework, working on like work stuff, taking their lunch or dinner break and just like hanging out with us at the same time. And to me, like, that's so cool because that's so cool. And it's also such a gift because you're giving time and you're investing yourself in other people. And if you can do that through a platform like YouTube, then phenomenal. That's awesome.
Kudos. Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I remember like, cause I've been a big fan of like HTV. I think I might have told the story last podcast. I don't remember. I don't think I did. It might have been off camera. And I remember like I used to like lurk in his streams a lot because he always like shiny hunts like at least like every day I think for a couple hours. I remember there was a mod and he like his name's Kenny Rama and I remember you know Kink, right? You know Kink on YouTube. So I remember Kink ended up raiding me when I was doing Among Us one night, and he was doing Among Us too, and Kenny was in his stream, and Kenny raided with him. I'm like, are you Kenny Rama from HTV? He's He's like, I am. He's like, wow, I must be famous. I'm like, I've seen you in his stream like every single day. Dude. He always talks about you. I'm like, to have you in my stream right now is like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, man, that blows my mind a little bit.
It's a small world, and what's really cool is like when you're in HGTV's stream and you're a chat member along with another mod who's a chat member, and you guys are just talking. Well, now you're on Beacon of Nick's stream, and you get to talk with Kenny. It's like, dude, like
it's
I know, like you're my friend, like I know you. You know that connection is so cool. I feel like I have a story of, oh man, I've had some instances when oh gosh, I have a couple different instances that just are really good examples of that bridge.
Sure.
One person, she's my mod now, Navi. She knew I streamed and I did a collab stream with Viantastic, and we had this joke about subscribers. Subscribers who are like stubby. I don't know how we got there. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not claiming responsibility for that.
Sometimes you just get on weird tangents.
Sometimes you just go on weird tangents. Exactly.
Sure.
So me and Vian had this joke. Well, Navi was in Vian's stream. She heard that joke. Of course, I made that joke to my subscribers, whatever. And then me and Vian, the collab ends, and we go our separate ways. Fast forward a year later, and Vian raids my channel, and Navi like sticks around for a little bit, and then a few days later I'm streaming again, and then I bring up subscribers, and she goes, "Wait a minute, I've heard this before. Where how did you know about subscribers?" I said, "That's a joke that me and Vian made like a year ago." She said, "Oh, I thought it was Vian's joke, but it turns out that it was both of you guys." And so we actually called that like step jokes. Like stepsister and stepbrother, because
that is hilarious.
You understand? She had no idea who I was back then, but she understood the inside joke, but from the other perspective, right? And so it took like a year to go full circle, but those like little bridges and stuff are so much fun. And I think just little things like that. I was at PAX. I was at a convention. And we were taking pictures with like Failboat and Jmoji, who are really big content creators on the Nintendo platform.
Yes.
It turns out that one of my viewers, his name is Cam, he was taking a picture with Failboat and Jmoji, and I took a picture with them as well. But what we didn't realize is if you look at that picture that Cam took, on the side, in the wings, like off to the side, is me. I photobombed.
No way.
I had no idea who Cam was at the time of me being at PAX.
Sure.
But Cam looked through his photo gallery. He was like, wait a minute. I see a guy with red glasses, with a blue hat, with a shirt. He looks exactly like you. I was photobombed in Cam's picture when he took that picture with Failboat and Jmoji.
Oh, that's insane.
Like, just those... Our lives are connected in more ways than one. And I love, like... little tiny bridges like that are so cool to me. Like you talked about with Kenny and getting to actually like talk with him in your stream when you were streaming on Beacon of Nick.
Sure. It was crazy because do you remember the 1 week where YouTube, or like the week and a half where like YouTube wouldn't let you post links in chat at all? Remember that week? Yep. So I was streaming one night, right? Yep. And I actually got a Failboat raid that night.
Oh, really?
And that was the week where the links wouldn't work. So like the raid was still pretty big, but like everyone that came over to my channel had to like manually type in Beacon of Nick on YouTube
and go find
and then they came over and they're like, hey, we couldn't get the link to work, but we still came over because Failboat raided you. Dude. I'm like, man, that's still so epic that I got a Failboat raid. I'm like, I don't even care.
Exactly.
Failboat knows that like my channel exists. That's cool. That's cool.
And the fact, and also on the other side, that people are willing to take the time and be like, hey, Failboat wanted us to raid this guy, so even if it's not easy as just like clicking a link, I will go manually and find Bacon of eggs?
Bacon of eggs?
Bacon of eggs is live stream Pokemon right now. Oh, Beacon of Egg. All right, I'll find Beacon of Nick. There we go. You know, the fact that they're willing to take that time is super cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so cool, and I was like, well, thank you guys for still coming over here, even though you couldn't really click the link. That was very nice of you. Thank you so much.
I think that's awesome. That's fantastic.
But yeah, it was cool because like all right, I'm gonna bridge this topic into another topic that I wanted to ask you about.
Let's go.
So me and I remember when I first started doing YouTube. Do you know Lander Alpha?
No.
Okay, yeah, Lander Alpha is a Pokemon was a Pokemon streamer on Twitch and YouTube.
Okay.
And then I remember that like he was one of the first people that ever raided me. And I remember I had like 40 or 50 subscribers, and seeing Lander Alpha raid in my chat was absolutely the coolest thing ever. I'm like, what is a raid? I didn't really know what a raid was.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I was like, are you guys? I was like, what is going on here? For a minute, I thought people were like, it was like a troll thing, and then I realized it wasn't a troll thing.
I've had that happen. Yes.
From Lander Alpha, I got exposed to like a few more content creators.
Yep.
And there was a dude that now is a really good friend of mine. If he might be watching this right now, his name's Dilly Goat. Yep. And he was like a regular viewer in his streams and a bunch of other creators. Yep. And like he raided with Lander Alpha, like he didn't really stay in streams too long. Yeah. But like one night he ended up lurking in my stream, and like because like I used to stream like pretty late, and he did homework and whatnot, so he kind of like hung out my stream, like just lurked.
Yeah.
And then one day I was in HTV's stream, right, and I said hi to HTV, and like HTV like gave me a shout out, and then Dilly saw me in that stream. He's like, wait, Nick, are you in the stream right now? And then me and Dilly had like a short conversation in HTV's stream, and then the next day I'm pretty sure Dilly became a member of my channel, came to a member night, and now we're like really good friends.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That was the coolest thing ever.
That's so neat. And like the cross culture between seeing each other in like different chats and filling that community, and then also what you brought up with like your first raid and kind of like the doors that got opened because of that.
Sure.
Is really cool. I can go on a small tangent that I've told many times. So
I'd love to hear it.
it's basically me getting raided by That Bald Gamer. That was my first.
I love That Bald Gamer.
That was my first raid ever. I was following a game called Hytale, which is very similar to Minecraft. It's to this. What's ironic is that I based all of my content in it because everybody was super hyped. The game isn't released yet. Like they've development delays and whatnot, whatever. Well, I met another friend. I met a friend through there called Aura Tail, and he was a subscriber of Bald, and Bald was asking for raid recommendations, and so Aura put my name in the raid recommendations. Bald came and visited me.
Oh my god!
At the time, I only did Minecraft. It was Minecraft only. That's the only game I knew how to stream. But then Bald, anytime I would visit his stream, Bald would always say, "Matt, get a Switch." Get a Switch. He would not say anything else other than that. But since then, oh my gosh, Nick, I've met you. I've met so many Splatoon content creators, other Nintendo content creators across the board. But it was that journey through doing Hytale and meeting Aura, and Aura recommending me, and then Bald rating me, and then me growing through Bald's community quite a bit, and then meeting so many other people from there. I don't think that we can tell people how to do that journey and say like, oh well, you got to get in with these people, and you got to do this. It's just you do what you want to do and enjoy. Like I was really enjoying following Hytale and looking at that game, but in that I just happened to meet a couple friends, and that led to raids and other stuff like that. So you can never predict how the journey will go, but the important thing is that you just do it. You start, you see what comes of it. That's the most important, and that's the funnest part. So.
It's like a giant pond where, like, when you drop your stone in it, you send a ripple out, right?
Yes.
And you're never gonna catch another ripple unless you create a ripple.
Correct.
You know, that's kind of how it is.
Ripple.
So like every day that you stream, you're kind of like throwing a stone into a pond that you're gonna create a ripple, and you never know what other ripple is gonna come in with your ripple, and you meet, and then it's a really cool thing. But like, to actually get a ripple, you got to create a ripple, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to have that spawning point, and then you meet up, and then it's a cool thing. So like, it's a wild experience. It's a wild experience.
That's the best part of this journey. Were you gonna go anywhere with the? You were talking about Kenny and talking about co-centrics, like meeting other people and meeting Dilly Goat and all those other people. Were you gonna go anywhere else with that?
Yes. So Dilly Goat is now a really good friend of mine, right?
Yep.
So we always joke about, because he always like gives me a bunch of like recommendations for like animes to watch and different streams that I should do. And he's recommended that I watch JoJo's and stream Genshin Impact. Like he's the biggest Genshin Impact fan.
Yep.
And some days you go on my Discord server and you would think I'm a Genshin channel, because all the mods that I have in there, all my friends play Genshin, and people talk about Genshin all day long. I don't stream Genshin. I barely play it. Sure. So like me and Dilly have like an agreement right now where like if I watch JoJo's and play more Genshin, he'll play Splatoon 2. So like that's kind of like our agreement we have going on right now.
All
so
right.
like I was gonna ask you about, like, I know you have streamed Genshin in the past.
Yes.
And like your experience with it and like, how you like the game and stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite character?
Now, okay, there's an ice archer that I really like. I don't remember the name. It was like an ice bow and arrow archer. I can't. Is it Child? Wait, what is? There's Child. The character's called Child, right? Child. Is that what?
Child is the guy who has a water bow. So
maybe that's who I like. That might be who I like then.
He also goes by Tartaglia, but that's
okay. Tartaglia, yes. I think it's Tartaglia.
Because of lore and story and reasons, he goes by both names.
Sure.
But yeah. So Child is super cool. Child can actually use his powers to like use his bow and then convert to like using like water melee blades. So like
that's my favorite. That's my favorite character. 100%.
Child
that's my favorite.
So cool.
That's my favorite.
He is a really strong DPS character. So Child's a lot of fun. I personally like Sucrose. She has like the light teal hair, and she's got the animo powers, and she can like summon these crowd control things that like bring all the enemies and like group them up, and just does a lot of like elemental damage. So she's my favorite. But as far as like Genshin as a whole, I've never played a gacha game. I've never played I guess you could call it's called a live service game, meaning that the whole game is still being released as you're playing it. So for example is we're on update 1.4 of Genshin, and there's going to be 1.5, 1.6, etc. There's going to be new characters, there's going to be more story, but we don't have the whole story right now. I've never really played a game like this, and I will say that I have gone through ebbs and flows. There's some times when I was like semi-interested in it and I just played it. There were times when I was you have cross saves between your like your phone mobile version and your desktop. I was logging into my phone at the right times of day to like get my resin and like get my resources timed perfectly. I was so about it. I was super hyped, and I would like grind stuff for days. And to be honest, now I'm at a little bit of a lull where I'm not doing all the daily stuff as much. I'm really happy with all the characters that I have, but I'm still very excited for like the new story that comes out in the new updates, the events that happen every once in a while. So you could spend hours like playing that game, grinding out all the stuff that you want. For something that is free, besides buying the Primogems to do the gacha pulls, the lottery stuff to get new characters, if it's a free game and the story is great, I don't see a reason why not to at least try it. For those that are not familiar with it, it's basically like Zelda Breath of the Wild, but with anime characters, and the story is deep. The story is great. The battle mechanics are a lot of fun, and it's a good game overall. A lot of people give it flack because it is a gacha game, and the gacha rates are very, very strict. By gacha rates, I mean that the percent chance to pull a high quality character, or like the highest quality character, is like 0.05% or something inane. Like it's really, you have to grind a lot of gems to get a good shot at getting those characters.
Yep.
But the grind is also fun too. I think it is so rewarding to do all that grinding and finally get like that character that you've been wanting that whole time.
Sure.
And to finally like include them in your party is really cool. So I get it. Like that's an amazing aspect of it. I still stream it on Twitch every so often, just to do like daily stuff, because you can also do co-op. You can co-op and you can play with friends. So that's really fun too. But I enjoy the game for the story, for the new stuff. Hopefully that'll come up soon.
Because I'm not sure if you know about it, but like there's like a website where you can like do like Genshin wish simulators. Well, you can just simulate an unlimited amount of wishes. They have like the same like RNG or whatever as getting an actual one. And Dilly sent me the other night, and we were just going through together, like doing like the wish simulators. Yes. I got Venti like my first like I don't even know, like 60 gems or whatever I pulled. Like I got pretty lucky, which is really cool.
Yes.
I was like, I wish I would have got Venti like an actual game.
In the real game.
That would have been like I simulated it, but like.
Yeah.
Apparently it's the same odds. I don't know. It might not be true, but apparently it's pretty close. So it was fun. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. So I know this is not really where we wanted the conversation to go, but just to touch on it.
Sure.
A lot of people, and I'll open up and I'll be honest. I have spent money on this game, a good amount too. And some people are like, the people who wail and spend money on this game are just wasting their money and blah blah blah. And it's like, listen, if you want to spend money on this game to get a character that means a lot to you, by all means, it's your money. You get to decide what to do with it.
Sure.
I'm not going to encourage you to spend your monthly rent, thousands of dollars on this. But I've spent upwards of like $100 just to throw gems in and try and get characters that I want. But I will tell you, Nick, and people have streamed their polls, and people have done this on YouTube, where the title is like, I regret spending triple digits on this game.
I've seen those videos, man.
You know them. You've seen them.
I've seen it.
But I can tell you there's something different when you do it. And you feel that feeling. And some people call it gambling addiction. Some people call it whatever. But I had that feeling of I was just throwing gems in to get the 5-star character. And I finally got it. But Nick, I tell you, I kid you not, when I finally got that character, the feeling was not, hooty day, I finally got the character today. It was not like super excitement for the character. It was, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I can stop spending money now.
Wow.
It was this, it's completely, there is a completely separate feeling.
Sure.
Of grinding your gems and finally pulling that character and be like, oh my gosh, like my work, like did this, you know?
Yep. Versus
spending money and like, yes, you finally got that character. It's different. And I warn people, I'm just saying like, this is not true for everybody. I know plenty of friends who they simply want all the characters. So they'll spend whatever money they want, and they're free to do so. I'm not judging them for it.
Sure.
They're free to spend that money and get those characters if they wish.
Sure.
And if that makes them happy, then please, by all means, go do it. I'm just warning people of that line that exists in the middle of, you risk, yes, you're going to get that character at the end of the day, but you also risk the feeling of like, oops, leaning toward that direction. So I mentioned this before, but that is just my campfire story, Nick. It is not for me to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you of my experience, what I've felt. So.
Sure, because like I feel like if you buy like an actual like AAA game that's like $60 or $90 with DLC, it's like you're spending that much money on a game that you're gonna get a certain amount of hours into. And if you get that many hours in Genshin, like who's to say you can't put that much money into Genshin too? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like you're still supporting that company that's making the game. It should be up to whatever you want to do, as long as you're not like have an unhealthy relationship with it and you're not spending too much. That there's no one can really tell you like what's a good amount to spend. Just whatever feels right for you, I guess.
Yep.
So exactly. I agree with that. But it's like hang on, I gotta pull it up really quick. I don't know if you saw my reaction to like Splatoon 3 when it came out, because like I remember when like I was talking in a Discord call the night before the direct, and I was like, for some reason tomorrow I feel like we're gonna get Splatoon 3 being announced. And,
really?
Like, yeah,
you were expecting it?
Because I thought like I was thinking about it. I was like, between 1 and 2, there was only a 2-year gap, and now this will be like what 4 or 5 years since the last one. I'm like. And if we do get it, if potentially we might be getting a new Switch like in the next little bit, like a Switch Pro or like an upgraded Switch. I'm like, they might have a new Splatoon game potentially. And I was like, if we get it tomorrow, I don't expect it, but I wouldn't be too surprised. And then like the trailer started, I'm like, maybe this is not Splatoon. And I saw the inkling, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I was like, bro, oh my god, man.
You can. I cringe a little bit. I'll be honest. You can go back to my reaction where the only thing that I could say was, I'm losing my mind. Like that will, those
I'm
4
losing
words.
I'm losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind. Yeah, those 4 words were just like running through my head, because at the start it was like the apocalypse. I was like, who brought Fortnite Desert Edition to my game? Like what is this? What's going on? Who's doing this? Right. What first person shooter are they trying to cram onto the Switch this time?
Yep.
But then as soon as you see the I recognize the salmon at first. The inkling is all like, under the covers, like, you can't see me yet, all that stuff. And I saw the salmon first, I was like, that's a salmon. Like, dude, holy cow. And I think my first reaction was just confusion of, like, is this Splatoon 2 DLC, or is this Splatoon 3? And then, all of a sudden, and it's just...
The town square is like, oh, bro, it's like...
the feeling of that. The direct ended, like, obviously 5 minutes after the trailer went through. Nick, I kid you not, we went back for like 30 minutes. We broke down every frame of that video and we like talked about each portion. Gosh dang.
It was weird because like I feel like for a little while I was like, is this gonna be like a new Splatoon game, like not like Splatoon 3 but like a single player game, like kind of like Fallout, like is it like Fallout Splatoon? I was like, is that like a new like a brand new experience?
Because of the desert, right?
Yeah, like, I thought it might be like a survival or like an adventure game, and I was like, this might be kind of cool take on Splatoon. Yeah. And then you see the thing flying in the middle of the square, and then the music starts playing. I'm like, oh, this is Splatoon 3, and then it hits, and it's like, bro, no way.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic, and I just can't wait for it. Like the one thing I want is the ability to host a lobby without having to like friend everybody. If you could put a code in, and like if everybody else gets like the same 8-digit code, you could join my lobby. Like, please. Dude, that would be the biggest godsend in the whole world. To, like,
Dodo codes for Splatoon, please.
Yes, and plus the people that make Animal Crossing make Splatoons. Just take Dodo codes and make them for Splatoon. Yes. That'd be wonderful.
Dodo codes. Make them Sheldon codes or something. Judd codes. I don't care. Just
whatever. Yeah, Judd code. That'd be great. That'd be amazing.
A lobby code would be great. And there's a lot of things that I think people are obviously interested in. There's plenty of Splatoon content creators who I watch who, you know, you look at them and they've got their gold is 999999999. We play this game. We love this game so much that we've maxed out the gold. Having an apartment like Animal Crossing, where you can invite your friends over and like hang out and buy furniture and spend that money somewhere.
Yes.
Upgrading it, like that would be phenomenal. I know a lot of people are looking for that. I think there's a lot of like in-game adjustments that people are looking for. As far as the game on the whole is concerned, I'm curious how the desert aesthetic will feel. You know, I'm not sure a lot of people have talked about this, but Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 were kind of defined by that like modern, very super colorful, very bright, very exciting aesthetic. You know, like colorful ink and all that stuff, and like cityscapes and whatnot. And sure, we have maps like Piranha Pit that are like dingy and dirty and whatnot. Yeah. That's once in a while. But I wonder how it'll feel to have Splatoon 3 that is, for the most part, set in kind of like a wasteland post-apocalypse, like dirty, gritty, grungy kind of vibe with like broken down stuff. I think people, I'm not saying that it's automatically going to be something that people have to adjust to, but you know, there is validity in saying, well, this is going to feel a little bit different. I also had this feeling of kind of is it remorse? Is it a remorseful feeling, I guess, where as soon as Splatoon 3 was announced, that creates a deadline for Splatoon 2.
Cut off, like, no more support.
I felt kind of bad.
It's sad.
I was like, well, Splatoon 2, because nothing else was coming after that, was like, okay, it just has like this infinite timeline of I will always enjoy it and I will always it'll be going forever, right? Well, now that Splatoon 3 is announced, we're like, okay, well now we've got a cutoff, right? I would encourage people to remember that even though Splatoon 1 has been on the Wii U for an extended period of time, there's still people who go back. I am currently hunting for a Wii U. If anybody knows of anyone to buy one, I'm hunting for a Wii U because I want to go back and play Splatoon 1.
I never played Splatoon 1. I never tried it before.
Neither have I. But I want to try it though. I got so invested in Splatoon 2's campaign, the story, the game, the people that I've met through it.
Same.
All these people talk about like, oh, like I remember in Splatoon 1 when like this like really powerful or like was a thing, and I'm like, man, I want to go back and experience that story, experience that game, you know. So there's still people who are playing it today, and just like that is happening now with people going back and playing Splatoon 1, I'm sure that there's still going to be lobbies that are open. There's still going to be people who are playing Splatoon 2 just to enjoy the game like as it is, you know.
Sure. Because like one of the mods on my channel, like she had a Wii U, and she told me like she's like, Nick, I love Splatoon 2, but I think Splatoon 1's objectively better. I'm like, that's a cool take, and I'm like, I'll go back and try it eventually, hopefully, because I love Splatoon 2. Because like when I got Splatoon, like I remember I got my Switch, I got Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I was like trying to find a game to get that was like different that I would try out. I'm like, okay, Splatoon might not be my cup of tea, but I'm gonna get it and try it. I remember I bought it, and like the next week, all I played was Splatoon, and by the end of that week, I'm like, all right, this game's amazing. I'm like, let's go. I love it. Cool. I'm like, yep, best game ever. I'm gonna keep playing it, and then I never stopped.
And I'm sure, especially when the Switch was kind of early in its development and early in its release, when people only had Breath of the Wild to play, Breath of the Wild is a beautiful game, but also single player. And so having Splatoon, having other multiplayer games where you can jump in, it's still third person, just like Breath of the Wild, but having a new game with motion controls too. Like Breath of the Wild is only sticks for the most part. There's some other stuff, but having a motion control, like fast, very action packed game, I think was a really cool breath of fresh air, no pun intended, to the Switch as a platform. And I'm curious, like you mentioned earlier, if we're gonna see not the same thing, but you mentioned the Switch Pro.
Sure.
And I don't think that there's going to become Switch Pro exclusives. I think Nintendo would really be cutting off a lot of people that just don't have access to that money and also that console.
Sure.
They've also said, we were speculating this, me and my community, about whether Splatoon 3 was going to be slotted for a Switch Pro release or something like that. But I think somebody spotted that the release said coming to the Switch, the actual like Switch. So I imagine that if there is a Switch Pro, it will probably be obviously an improved version. It'll probably run at higher texture, at a higher resolution, maybe a higher frame rate, maybe it'll have better features, but it can probably play all of the same games. It'll probably play all the same games that we're used to.
Sure.
I think we are kind of steering toward that conversation, so I'll continue for a little bit if that's okay.
Go for it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm there's a lot. There's so much to unpack here. I feel like with Nintendo in this. So
yeah. So the Switch Pro, if they do it, I don't think they'll have a problem with upscaling the games. For example, the Switch, when you run it, I think if I understand correctly, the Switch runs at 720p resolution on handheld, but then when you put it in the dock, it runs at 1080p, like upscaled to your monitor, right?
Sure. Yep.
So,
that's how it goes.
I think because the games have the ability to run at 1080p, then it's possible for them to have the handheld run 1080p. But I'm wondering what does that mean for if you put it on your TV? Does that mean that they're going to run it at 1080p on your TV, but then just at a higher frame rate? They wouldn't. I don't think they would go up to 2K or 4K. I think that's a little bit excessive.
Sure.
And even when they do that, even if they were able to run it up to 2K or 4K on the TV, the games may not be built to handle that quality. If the textures in Breath of the Wild are 1080p, then you can't upscale that to 4K without running into like resolution changes and issues. So
it just would look awkward in some ways. It wouldn't look like right. Maybe.
It would, which makes me hesitate as to why Nintendo would make a Pro in the first place. Like, I get it from a marketing standpoint, but I think at the end of the day, unless they come out with something truly new and unique and special, they've released the Switch Lite, for example, which is just like a smaller handheld version, which is fine.
Yep.
But they have just invested and they've put so much into their Switch platform between the games, the different customized things, like the Mario Kart live circuit thing, where you have alternate reality where you can watch the cart go through, but then you're also playing it too.
I want to try that so bad. I never tried it before. I would love to try that sometime.
Mm-hmm. Those kind of things are really cool, and they were built for the Switch. So the Ring Fit Adventure, all of these things that Nintendo has made for the Switch, does that mean that they're just going to like scrap and abandon and leave the Switch platform with a new console?
See, I can't see that at all.
Right, and that's if the Pro comes out, people have asked me. They've said, if there's a Switch Pro, will you get one?
Mm-hmm.
Unless there are clear, I would probably say. I mean, I just dropped $500 on PS5 because my family actually skipped the PlayStation 4. So we have an old PlayStation 3 in our basement, but I have missed out on all of the PS4 games.
No way.
Yeah, Last of Us, Persona, like Nathan Drake, all of these games that were like PlayStation 4 big titles, I've never played.
Yep.
So there was a very, very, very... It would be as if I had only had the Wii U, and I never got to play any Switch titles until I got to the Switch Pro. Then yes, like, it makes sense. It made sense for me to get a PlayStation 5. It would make sense for me to get a Pro.
Sure,
but
sure.
At this point, if they come out with a Pro, I think it would be great for people who want to spend that money. I'll be honest with you, if it's within my financial wheelhouse, like if I can buy it, I might, because as a content creator, you can probably understand this too. As a content creator, I want to provide people with good quality stuff. So if it means that I can provide smoother and better gameplay for people on stream, then I'll make that investment. Like I'll be happy to do that.
Sure, sure.
I'll make that decision when the time comes. I don't know how you feel about it, or if there's if you have a different viewpoint on it.
Because I feel like because they had the Nintendo DS or 3DS, and they had the new 3DS, and like that was kind of like the next a small upgrade, and that's kind of how I see like if they do release a new Switch model, how it would be. It maybe called like a new Switch, or like a Switch like I don't know, a Super Switch or a Switch
XL or a
Switch
Switch
XL
Plus.
something.
Yeah.
But I think every game is playable on the XL will be playable on the regular Switch, and I think they might have like improved graphics, maybe better kickstand, maybe like a better like better screen resolution. But I just can't see them having like Switch Pro exclusive games, because you are cutting off so many people that don't want to upgrade, that don't really see the benefits of upgrading, which I can completely get. Like I might just keep my Switch unless there's like a massive reason to upgrade, because I think my capture card can only like handle like 1080p. So even if it is 4K, it's not like it's really going to be that much of an improvement.
Same. At that point, if I wanted to make that jump, I would have to buy the Switch Pro and upgrade my capture card, because it's not that strong.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for people who don't have 4K TVs, like, what's the point? So we'll see.
But I know you talked about like in Splatoon 3 having like your own apartment and having friends over.
Yeah.
If they ever have Splatfests, I think it'd be cool if you won the Splatfest with your team, you got like a medal or like a trophy, and you could put that in your room somewhere. Yeah, and like if like depending how many you won, you can show it off, and like you can kind of have like a table or like a something on your wall. They have like it mails you like an in game thing you can put in your house, like as a small little thing. That'd be cool.
I mean, we have sea snails, but that's like it's disposable. It's not really. People have plenty of those.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, dude, that'd be so much fun. And so the apartments would be cool. Being able to hang out just like in the apartments with friends. Like there's sometimes when I'd love to just hang out with people, so we go to private battles, right? But having our own space to hang out would be really cool. I think the biggest question that I have is what they're gonna do with A, the campaign, and then B, Salmon Run. Obviously you have like little buddy, you have like your little person.
Yeah.
So what are they doing with it? Is it I don't know if you remember, and you can look this up later. Back for New Year's of 2020, they had a graphic that said "Save Our Salmons" SOS, and it was for like it was supposed to be like Happy 2020, but the 202 got turned into SOS. It was like a distress call.
Whoa.
And people were, I'll send you it just so you have it for later.
Yeah, please do. I would love to see it.
But people were wondering, they were like, what is this? Why is this a thing? And I feel like now that we're seeing this in Splatoon 3, it's highly likely that image that they released to us back in 2020 is probably the same reference to what's happening in Splatoon 3, where we're saving the salmons. Like, we have a little salmonid buddy, and now the world is in a post-apocalypse. What are they going to do for... How are they going to take the ticket and drink ticket and Grizzco gear earning system and transfer that to Splatoon 3? Is it still going to be Salmon Run? Is it going to be different? Is Grizzco... I imagine that Grizzco, according to like the lore, if the salmonids are no more, then Grizzco is probably finding a different way to make money. Maybe.
Sure.
Is Grizzco looking for just the eggs? Is he done? Is he a business monolith and he's just there to make money? And so is he going to find another industry? I love Salmon Run. It's one of my favorite parts of the game.
It's very cool.
I like player versus environment stuff, whereas the rest of Splatoon is mostly player versus player, PvP. Yep. So the fact that there is a player versus environment Salmon Run thing, is cool, but I'm curious how they're going to adapt and what they're going to do for 3. That's probably the biggest question for me at this point.
Sure. There's like so many small features about like 3, because I wonder if like I feel like the Chaos versus Order Splatfest is kind of what determined like this being the post-apocalyptic world that we're in now.
Yes.
So it's really cool how that Splatfest determines so much of Splatoon's future. You know, like that the idea of Chaos winning was like, man,
the fact that they did that, and
it was very impressive.
I've had some along the timeline. Final Fest happened in summer of 2019.
Yep.
So then New Year's comes at 2020. That's when we get the Save Our Salmons thing. And then now we just got the Nintendo Direct that released 3. Viantastic made a really cool theory where he said if Splatoon was planning on Chaos versus Order determining the outcome of 3, then maybe they actually started developing both.
Whoa.
But then based on the Splatfest results, in this case, Chaos won, but then Order would be released as a DLC, and then that would have been flipped if the results were the opposite. If Order had won the Splatfest, then we would have seen an entirely different trailer for Splatoon 3. It would have been completely different. The city looks new. It's Team Order. It's a whole new thing. But then the Chaos stuff would have been in a DLC later. I don't know. I love that idea. I think that's really cool.
Dude, my mind's blown right now. That's a really good concept, because they had to be working on this before that, like around that Splatfest, or before that Splatfest. At least starting development.
It maybe, and I say maybe because remember that Animal Crossing was released in March of 2020.
Sure.
So at the time, Nogami is the director over the studio that makes Animal Crossing and Splatoon. But the thing is, if I remember correctly, I think Koromora told me, she said that the team has gotten so big, and Animal Crossing and Splatoon are such different and important titles in Nintendo's lineup.
Yep.
That they've actually kind of like split the group because they need like dedicated teams for Animal Crossing. They need dedicated people for Splatoon. Nogami still heads up both of them. So he is the umbrella under both groups, but the teams are separated. But that's not to say that during the development back in 2019 and 2020, the team was probably focused hard on getting Animal Crossing New Horizons wrapped up for March of 2020's release. So
sure, that makes a lot of sense.
So were they working on both? It would be cool, but we'll see. I feel like throwing Order into what Splatoon 3 looks like right now would be kind of tricky because we've seen so much like post-apocalyptic stuff. Maybe it'll be if Vian is right,
perfect organized world, but nothing that goes wrong. Like that'd be really cool. That'd be very cool if that was the DLC.
It could be that Vian is right and that the concepts are there, but the timeline is flipped. Maybe in this case, we start with Chaos and then we get DLC that the apocalypse turns to Order. But then if the opposite Splatfest results were true, then our Splatoon 3 trailer would have been Order, but then things turn to Chaos. Like we see the apocalypse happen, right? So in the reverse order. Who knows? But I think from the trailer and everything that we've seen, I am really excited for also what they're doing with making the game, I think, more accepting. And I want to touch briefly on the fact that we've seen hairstyles and genders be kind of like put to the side, and now like you can dress how you want, you can put your hairstyle like you want, you can have new eye colors, like all of that stuff to allow people to express themselves exactly how they want to. I think it speaks volumes to a level that's not just, hey, here's what we want to do for our Splatoon fans, but more of a, here's what we should do because humans are equal. And
I agree.
We want everybody to feel accepted as to who they are and how they want to express themselves. That is bigger than the game itself, Nick. That is bigger than just like this is what our Splatoon players want. This is what we as a Splatoon group, but then also as a company like want for people.
Sure.
That spoke to me big time when I watched the trailer. I was like, dude, this is more than just, this is really big. I like the fact that pushing this direction. I think especially while we're here in this socio-political climate, which is just a fancy word for saying things are really unstable right now. And
there's a lot of just like, just arguments and all kinds of stuff and chaos.
Yep. And racism and inequality and all this stuff. Splatoon, I said this on stream and I will say it forever. Splatoon has always been a comfort zone and a safe space for me and for a lot of people that I know.
Sure.
And I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see that will continue to be the case when the game comes out, where people can feel very safe in how they express themselves, how they enjoy, and how they spend their time. That is...
Yep.
I'm clicking my pen.
Take your Inkling, make it however you want, whatever suits you, and then just enjoy the game and have a good time.
Exactly.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
was there anything else? Was there anything else that you are thinking of as far as things you're excited about in Splatoon? Questions, unanswered questions that for me it was the salmon run, right? It was the what's our player versus environment thing. I don't know if you're wondering the same thing or if there's other questions that you've had lurking since we saw the trailer.
Yeah, I want to know like what this, because I am just now playing the Octo expansion in Splatoon 2. Yes! And I love the Octo expansion. It's amazing. It's so fun. Yep. I wish the main story was a little more like the Octo expansion. Yep. And I wonder if they're if they're gonna model the Splatoon 3 story a little bit similar to the Octo expansion, because I love it so much. Mm-hmm. And then I also want to like I hope we get like more maps in Splatoon 3, like more like old maps like from like Splatoon 1 and 2 coming back.
Yep.
And I just want to know, like, I want to read the Splatoon manga and like learn more about like the actual origin of Splatoon, and I want to learn more about that. And like eventually, I want to tie all that together and figure out where they're going in the future with Splatoon. That's what I want to know.
Okay. So you're really digging in for the story content.
Yeah, I think I am this time. I am this time with chaos being like the dominant thing. I want to know more about the story and know more about like the lore of the whole idea of Splatoon.
And that's why I want to play Splatoon 1. Like I can dig through a wiki all day and I can read, but just playing it is important. I also have the Splatoon manga. It's very good. It's not... Splatoon manga is actually based on Splatoon 1, I think. At least it's based in that timeline. And it's not... It's canon for the most part. But it is definitely taking... Splatoon in the game focuses on like Callie and Marie and Pearl and Marina and like the idols and stuff. Yep. But the manga is more of like a story of a team of Inklings that like goes through ranked and like does adventures on their own. So... It has its own story that's kind of separate from canon, but it's still like really enjoyable.
Interesting.
What you said about Octo Expansion is incredibly true, and I love how they designed Octo Expansion, the music, the lore, the storyline. Splatoon 1's campaign is very similar to Splatoon 2's, and vice versa, where DJ Octavia was like the antagonist, you know. So I hope that in 3 we don't get Fight DJ Octavio Part 3. I don't think they'll do that.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think you're on the right track. I think they will do something. They will have a story that has the depth and complexity of an Octo expansion thing. But as for what they do, they'll be really cool. I don't have any theories. I don't want to throw out any ideas now because frankly I'm not sure. But the story content was always really important to me. I actually 1,000% of the game, which is going through the campaign. Through all the iterations to get all of the hero weapons because I'm insane.
Did you really? That's impressive. That's amazing. That's
impressive. Was fun. It was.
That's
I enjoyed
awesome.
It was. I did it because I was looking. I wanted to play things when I was offline. So these are moments where like I'm in the car, I'm in an airplane, I'm in the airport. I don't have internet, but I just wanted to play Splatoon. And even if I was just playing with stick controls, it didn't really matter. That was just my way of grinding and doing that offline. So. That was fun for me, but I can imagine, interestingly enough, I will admit, one of the things in Octo Expansion that was kind of disappointing was that there was no incentive for 1,000%ing or whatever. Octo Expansion.
That's true.
You, in the campaign, you get the hero weapons if you do all the levels with all the hero weapons, and that's great. But in Octo Expansion... Usually you have the option for like 2 or 3 other weapons, right? To complete the level.
Sure.
And so I could have gone back and done the levels with all 3 different weapon types. And I would love to do that if there was a reward. And I'm insane, okay? I love grinding these things and like doing it. But I'm usually doing it because there's like a tiny reward at the end. So for me, it was the hero weapons in the Splatoon campaign. I kind of wish there was something for Octo Expansion. I would have definitely gone back and do it. Haven't done it yet because I want to spend time in other areas, but I will say that if Splatoon 3 has something like that, I hope that they model it on 2's campaign, where you got extra rewards from putting in all effort. I hope that it's not necessarily like Octo Expansion, where you could complete everything, but there's nothing really at the end if you decide to do so. But that's just, you don't have to be crazy like me. That's just a personal thing from my side.
Sure. That's I think whatever they do for Splatoon 3, I hope that they have like just that mindset of like, let's take everything that has worked that people like, bring it in, be more inclusive, have new weapons, have new maps, and let's have a good experience for everybody. That's what I want. I want like the best. Because I almost feel like Splatoon 2 will like be like the first half of the Switch's lifespan, and this will be kind of like the second half of the Switch's lifespan. But like I feel like the Switch is kind of like in its midway point, like being a console right now. Like it's kind of halfway through. So you have one Splatoon for the first half, one for the second half, and then hopefully it's a good time.
So when we get Splatoon 4, maybe that'll be on a 4K. I don't know. Whatever.
That might be the next. Whatever. There's so many like. I feel like Nintendo's gonna like shock the world whenever they do like in the future for like their next console. Like, it might be revolutionary. Could be the Switch, but like just better graphics, or it could be something brand new. I have no idea.
Nintendo Swatch, who knows? It's a watch, but it's like the Switch, and you get to play anywhere you want. The Swatch, yeah, that's the new one. 4K from your wrist, and you can play here. It's even got motion control, so you can go back and forth. I don't know.
That'd be great. You can swim. Yeah. Just go for a swim.
Yeah, exactly. We're swimming through the ink.
You can be an inkling, just like swim through the ink.
Oh like, my gosh, it's got beautiful. Nintendo Ring Fit technology. You can go everywhere you want.
That'd be great. But like to go back to one of our earlier topics, like, is there anything on YouTube that you think you want to try to do that you've never got to do yet as a creator?
So I'm currently working on some Splatoon gear videos that are kind of, it's a whole new take. It looks a lot different than what I've done before, so I'm excited for that. We talked about this before. I'm working on merch. That's a new slice of the pie that I've never invested in, but I want to do that.
Sure.
I want to do. I want to spend more time fleshing out and making more of my like stream effects and stuff like that, because that's really like what people enjoy, and we all get a kick out of it. So I want to spend more time doing that. As far as goals are concerned, Nick, I would be lying if I didn't say that I would love to do this for a job someday.
Sure.
I think that's all of our dreams at some point. But another fireside chat from me. It's like nobody has to follow this, but what I've come to terms with in my life is that I know a lot of people dream of being a full-time content creator one day, and that's great. But there's a lot of stress that comes with all of your income comes from this platform. And what I've kind of discovered for myself in my journey is that I can be fulfilled as a human being by working my job. I work at a university doing medical research. I do that job, and that fulfills me professionally. So I'm helping the university. I'm doing medical research. I'm helping the science community. And from like a professional standpoint, it makes me happy in that way. It also puts bread on my table and keeps a roof over my head, so that's important too.
Sure.
But when I go into work, I don't get to like share myself. I don't get to share my sense of humor, my creativity, my laughs, my jokes, that part of me. But that means that streaming gets to be all of that. So I have another portion of my life that's my hobbies, which is streaming, and that fulfills me personally. I get to share myself. I get to share my videos, my streams, my creativity. I get to invest myself in people. We talked about this earlier. We get to make people's days better. And socially, I feel so much better. I feel so fulfilled in that avenue. So my brother is currently in college, and he talks to me all the time. He said, Matt, like, I want the perfect job. I want the perfect job that fills all of this. In essence, what he's saying is he wants the perfect job. And I think we've all done this. We've all been in life where we want that job out there that fulfills us professionally. Like, we're making a difference in the world. It fulfills us socially, where we're making friends and we're hanging out with people. And it fills us like entertainment-wise. Like, we feel like we're happy and we're joyful about what we're doing too. That job is extremely hard to come by.
Oh,
and also, by the way, making money all at the same time. Like, finding that job, that perfect, is really hard. I've come to find within myself that you are allowed to have different things in your life. And I know for some, this may seem like a really stupid, simple concept that should be a no-brainer, but it took me 26 years to figure out that I am allowed to go to college and finally have a job that just fulfills my professional and financial needs, but then also have a hobby that fulfills my social, entertainment, and like creative needs as well. I am allowed to have those two things.
Sure.
So I'm not saying that people have to do it a certain way. They can approach life how they want, but that's just it's a little anecdote. That's a little side story to answer your question about like what it means to stream to and what things fulfill you, I guess, per se. How did we get on this topic?
just about like YouTube and like what you want to do going forward. But that was a beautiful way to express that though, man. That was beautiful. I feel like it's hard, man, because I feel like finding the job that's fulfilling, that's fun, that you enjoy, that you feel like you're making a difference, and you're also like, I feel like at the end of the day, we just want to feel like we like what we do and we feel like we're making a difference. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. And I think YouTube is a really good platform for that in a lot of ways. I think it really is.
Right. So I guess to answer your question, which is what is my goals?
Sure.
I want to find a way to keep doing this. Really. I love it. And if it means that I keep my university job and do this, awesome. If it means that we grow to 5 million or we just stay at 5K, I'm perfect in between. As long as I'm still like enjoying it and having fun, that's the most important part. So,
like I'll say like your overlays and like all your effects are like insanely good. You kill. Like there's so many times where like I've been in your stream and like seen like some things that you're doing. Yeah. Like I like your whole like your cardboard box like cutout layout you have going right now. That's insanely creative. And like whenever like you get rated by somebody or someone like becomes a member on your channel, like the way like you have like the singing, like what dude, it's just like the way you got that set up and recorded and edited is insane to me. It's amazing.
It took
creative.
A while. Thank you. And I think I suffer a lot with comparison. I struggle with like looking at other creators and say like, oh, I will never be as creative as blank, or my stuff will never be as cool as so and so's. You are allowed, as a content creator, you are allowed to take inspiration and you're allowed to take ideas, run with it, and also understand that the cardboard, the singers, all of the effects that I have is the accumulation of 2.5 years of me streaming.
Yep.
So please don't feel bad as a content creator out there who's watching this. Please don't feel bad if you see other things that are like, wow, I'll never get there. It is just, people have put a lot of time and energy, and if you also give yourself that time to grow and learn and that energy to put into these things, you'll get there in your own way. And people enjoy all the effects. Yes, people enjoy coming to Nick's stream and seeing his really fantastic Pokemon Christmas light, Sir Farfetch'd background and stuff like that.
Sure.
But people sometimes just want a stream, and all they care about is the game and you. It doesn't have to have every bell and whistle under the sun.
You don't need it. I'm telling you. It's cool to have. Yep. I enjoy it, cool. But like you don't need it. It's not essential.
People will come for you and enjoy what you do because you're there.
Yep.
I only say that because, first of all, thank you, Nick. Like, appreciate the compliments, and on top of that, as somebody who is on the other side sometimes where I'm comparing myself, I just want to throw that out there because bing bong, I've suffered from it a lot too. So
yeah, exactly. I definitely look at sometimes like when I'm like, especially if I take a night where I don't like stream or make content, I have like a free night to myself. There's a lot of nights where I feel like I'm wasting time, but then I'll go on YouTube and I'll see someone that's like grinding hard, they're streaming, they're making videos, and I'm like, I'm not doing that tonight, and like, they're making progress, and I'm still here, and they're already way, and sometimes like they're already way ahead of me, and I'm not doing anything right now, but like. You don't think that they have nights where they're not doing anything, and they've been doing this for a long time, and like you can't grind forever because you're gonna get burned out. You will get burned out, and you're gonna lose all creativity and passion, and then you gotta take time for yourself because if you don't, like, and you can't compete with other people because like they're doing their own thing and they've been doing this for probably a lot longer than you have. You got to compete with yourself yesterday and then they try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday and learn a little bit today, and like down the road you're gonna be way farther than you were, you know. So
I was just gonna say, you are allowed to take a break.
Yes, you are. Okay.
It is for your own health and your own self-care. Please do it.
Like, I agree. I agree.
You know? So everybody has their own timeline and they're doing their own thing. Don't let that put unnecessary pressure on you and what you do. Enjoy.
Sure, exactly.
Yep.
And like I feel like with YouTube, like everyone kind of has like their own period of time where like something new comes out, they have a new idea, they grow for a while, and then they kind of, you know, it's a period of growth and just kind of like it's a wave, you know what I mean? So like don't feel bad if you're in a period where like things are a little bit slower than they were a little bit ago, because like it comes and goes. It's ebb and flow, you know. Just make good content that you enjoy making and have fun, and you know, be active with your community, and good things will happen. I agree. I most of the time.
Most of the time. Did you? So we are cutting close. Wow, we are.
Dude, we're cutting. we're way over our time we wanted to do this.
We are. I obviously have my sticky note of things to talk about.
Sure.
Is there anything else major that you want to talk about? Because we've touched a little bit on like content creation. We were going to talk about Discord and Google Drive and like assembling your ideas, even if you can't do so.
Yes. Yes, go for it.
If that's super important now, we can do it. Nick, at this point, to be completely honest with you, if you feel like you want to do another podcast in the future where we talk about content creation more specifically,
we could do that.
I would be okay with that if you want to save that for later.
Let's just save that for next time. I'm okay with that. At least for next time, I'm sure there's a million things we didn't talk about today. But for next time, we at least have one major thing that we can actually anchor on. That'd be great.
Is there anything else major we need to touch on for this podcast that you feel that we haven't gone through yet?
Man, I feel like if I sat here for another hour, I could talk for that long. But it's like I feel like at this point it's been forever. So I want to make sure it's not too long. So I agree. I think we can call this a podcast.
You also have to edit this, so I respect the time that you're going to have to go back and cut this too. So we got that as well.
Well, guys, I want to thank Aderan for sitting down with me today and being here and being awesome. We talked for a while before we went live today, which is amazing.
Yes.
And it's been a very fun conversation. So if you guys do not know Aderan Gaming, please look him up. Please check his channel out, subscribe to him, drop by his stream. Probably gonna be impressed by how his overlays look and everything like that. He's a very wholesome, genuine person. So please consider going over and checking his channel out. And thank you, Aderan. I had a really good time. So
glad to be here. Thanks.
Is there anything else you want to say as we wrap up?
Thank you guys for spending your time and watching us.
Thank you guys.
Whether it's this video or whether it's streams, thank you for investing your time in people, not just us, but anybody else you watch. It's important. It lifts us up. It lifts up other people who are watching. And we're wishing you the best. Thank you for being you, as always. And thanks, Nick, for having me.
You're so welcome, dude. Thank you for being here, man. I remember it was like Sunday. I'm like, man, I gotta get a podcast guest this week. I'm gonna rush out to Aderan. He was my next guest on my list. Anyways,
let's go.
Hopefully it's free. But yeah, this should be going up as a premiere. So if you guys are watching this in the premiere still, and you guys are still hanging out with us, thank you for hanging out in the premiere. I'm excited. I'm probably in the chat right now. So hello, Nick, if you're watching this, man, and hello everyone else.
Hello,
should be
Aderan,
Sunday as a premiere. So thank you guys for watching for the past like hour and a half or however long this ends up being after the edit. So
hey, Premiere chat, can we get some blue hearts for Nick right now?
Blue hearts? Do you say?
Yeah, blue hearts, because that's an Aderan thing. Wow, look at Nick. Look at your chat. It's just
dude, look at all the blue hearts.
It's exploding right now. You guys are incredible. Thank you.
Oh, you guys are killing me with love. You guys are killing me with love.
The blue lights in Nick's background are blushing. They're just they appreciate you guys so. Guys, thank you.
Look at all those blue hearts.
Thank you for sticking with us to the end. We appreciate you. We're probably blue in the face from talking. You're probably blue because you need some water or something. I don't know.
Please take care of yourselves.
Yes.
But if there's anything that you guys want to see, if me and Aderan ever do a podcast again, let us know in the comments. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, what was your favorite part of the podcast? What resonated with you guys the most? What could you relate to the most?
Yeah.
If you guys are content creators, like, do you guys agree with us on anything? Disagree with us? Let us know. I would love to try to reply to all the comments this video gets. So
sure.
But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Thank you, Aderan, again for being here. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great end of your weekend, start to your week. Hopefully this does go up on Sunday. But we'll see you guys next time. So thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging with us.
Much love.
Dude.